was kind of uncomfortable, but it was kind of cool at the same time. I was with my father-in-law and a couple of friends, and we had just had the premiere of a French movie I did in Paris. Wow. Many years ago. And a fan came up and just smooched me.
Whoa!
Yeah.
No!
Yeah. Yep. And she was not here.
Oh no!
And my father-in-law's right here.
No!
And my friends are right here. Oh yes.
Oh my God! In Paris?
In Paris. So it was like really cool and very awkward. And
bonjour, Mark.
Yeah. And my father-in-law was like staring at me, and I'm like,
no manches, bro.
So that was interesting. Can we get a little attachment like this?
Your neck brace and all that. Well, Mark, this is the interview that I've been most excited about all week.
Are we going now?
Yeah, we're going. We're going. Yeah.
Oops, you gotta check for logos. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Sorry.
No, I want this to be this is my, I started a podcast, and with the whole purpose is just to be as free and loose and just to talk to people, and just have conversations that inspire the youth and all the people. But I've been waiting for this one literally this whole week. Obviously, we spent some time in Budapest.
We did
Nights of the Zodiac, and what a coincidence that yesterday I get the news. Netflix posted the news that Nights of the Zodiac will be streaming on Netflix.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I originally wanted, right? I was like, let's do a theatrical release. And then after that, I pray that it goes to Netflix. And sure enough, we're doing it. So was I the first person to tell you the news?
You were the first person.
Okay.
So thank you. I love that.
Yeah.
First you were on my block. And
correct.
Now we are on my bod. Pod.
Yeah, the bod
we are
one's
on. Diego's on my bod.
On my bod. That one's for the girls. I know. Thanks for coming. This On My Block was a big project for me. It was my first project, and through that project, we gained such a loyal and loving and supportive fan base. And every time I check my Instagram DMs, they're always like, "Hey, like when's the new season coming?" I'm like,
"Wow!"
I'm like, there is no new season. I'm like, it's done. We ended it strong, and we're gonna leave it there.
Okay, what about 5 years later? They come back.
Oh shoot, with a musical?
With a musical.
Yeah.
Would you do it? Would you do a musical version of it?
I wouldn't do a musical version of that, but I want to do a musical.
Okay.
I want to do a musical.
Right.
I want to try my singing.
All right.
But in Spanish.
Okay. Oh, yeah, of course.
I want to try it in Spanish.
Okay.
That's down the line,
I've
though.
heard you speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And you make my name sound cool. My last name.
You have a cool last name.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tinoco is yours. How do I say it with the Spanish flair?
How
do you say it?
Like, mi nombre es Diego Tinoco.
Tinoco.
Yeah.
Oh, with a little twinkle. You say you Tinoco. Oh,
You know what's funny? A lot of people think that my name is Japanese. They're always like,
Tinoco-san.
When we were in Japan for the Zodiac premiere, they're like, Diego Tinoco-san. And I was like,
that sounds cool too.
I was like,
that
sounds
cool
badass.
Too.
And they would ask me, they're like, are you Japanese? And I was like, I freaking wish, dude. I was like, I wish, yeah. But your name is really awesome too. Mark Dacascos.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
Is that Latin at all? Or where are you from originally?
So originally I'm from Hawaii.
Okay.
And from my mother's side, she's half Irish, English.
Wow.
Western European.
Wow.
And her other side is Japanese, Okinawan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then my father is like Filipino Spanish mix. The Spaniards were in the Philippines 400 years plus. The original name was Dacascos. And then when my father came from Hawaii to the mainland USA, he changed it to Dacascos because he thought that would be easier. And I don't know if it is any easier. All these A's and C's and anyway, Dacascos.
It's funny because I would, when we started doing the press for Zodiac, I would kind of butcher your name sometimes. I was like Dacascos. And then I remember we were doing WonderCon, we were doing some event at Comic-Con, I can't remember. And I think you were shooting something in South Africa at the time.
Yes.
So you weren't able to make the attendance. So they pull up a video of you and you're shouting everybody out. You're like Madison Eisman, Nick Stahl, Diego Tinco.
And then after I sent it, I realized there's a vowel missing.
No, it's
Tinoco.
okay. You're not the first
I'm
person
so
to say
sorry.
my name like that.
Oh.
I was shooting a movie in New Mexico, and I took my dad out to a basketball game for the university out there. And, you know, I have a buddy and he pretends to be a manager. And I'm always like, hey, Matt, like, could you call the university and tell him that I want to go there with my dad?
What's going on, guys? As you may all know, the podcast is officially out on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course, YouTube. We are an ad-free podcast as of right now. But if you would like to support the podcast channel, make sure to go and get your On My Pod merch. It would truly mean the absolute world for myself and the entire production team for you guys to support the channel. That being said, catch us every Saturday at 9 a.m. with new episodes. We love you guys. Thank you for the support. It truly means the world. And, well, continue to watch On My Pod.
So, yeah, I got you. I'll plug you up. So he calls him. He's like, hey, Diego Tinoco's going to be there, blah, blah, blah. And they're like calling my name, right, for like the spotlight or whatever. And it's a super epic spotlight. And they're like, here with us today, Diego Tinco.
No!
I was like, oh my God.
Diego, I'm sorry.
Like, no,
I'm really sorry about that. I felt so bad afterwards.
We can't laugh at ourselves. Come on. No,
All right,
it's, you know, I have a confusing name, but
Yeah.
it's my name.
Well, it matches your confusing personality, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm an actor, you know, I keep it ambiguous.
Yeah. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
When did you start acting and how?
I started acting.
So some of your fans may know this, but I don't know this, and I'm a fan of yours. So please.
Oh, likewise, bro. Likewise. I started acting when I was 11 years old in my mind, right? I would watch
In
movies.
your mind. Okay,
in my mind.
okay.
I was like, I want to be an actor. I'm seeing movies. I'm like practicing in the mirror, filming myself on my phone or my camera at the time. And it took me 6 years to take an acting class. 6 years of waiting for that moment of taking the initiative. I mean, obviously I was 11. I lived away from LA. But as soon as I got my first car, I was like, I want to try an acting class.
Cool.
I tried it out in La Crescenta, California, and I fell in love with it.
Oh, fantastic.
I fell in love with it off the bat, and
Good.
I was like, I have to do this for the rest of my life. Rich,
Wow.
poor, whatever.
Good.
And I stuck with it. I moved to LA 2 years later, right after high school, when I was 18, with my best friend. Lived in a tiny little.
Also an actor, your best friend?
No.
Okay.
He was he was. We grew up skateboarding together.
Okay.
I like begged. I was like, bro, please call me. Like, I don't want to go out there alone. He's like, I got you.
All right.
Yeah, he's a good friend. I'm still best friends with you.
Good.
But yeah, I moved to LA and worked 2 jobs, Postmates, Wood Ranch, and just went to acting class full
Fantastic.
time.
Good for you, man.
And then
worked your way up.
9 months later, you know, my first year out, booked the job and
Are you serious?
changed my life, man.
Wow.
It changed my life completely.
Wow, but you put in the effort.
I put in the effort, yeah.
You know?
And I was going to acting class and I was auditioning since I was 16. So a lot of people think, oh, 9 months you did. It's like, no. Since I was 15 and a half, it's when I started acting class, the training, the showcase, auditions. I mean, you know the grind,
You
right?
worked.
When
You worked.
Yeah, and it was something that, you know, a lot of people see, but they see the final result, but they don't see the hard work, the years of hard work.
That's right.
Nobody sees that, and I'm never one to be like, look how hard I worked, but in my head I'm like, it's not easy. It's really hard, but if this is what you want to do, you can accomplish it.
Yeah.
But it's gonna take time, discipline, and
That's it.
effort.
Well, that's it. Okay.
Yeah. But what about you?
Okay.
Because
okay,
hold on. We talking about me starting
okay.
acting. That was my first question for you. How'd you get into acting all the way from Hawaii?
Okay.
And then you did major projects like John Wick, Hawaii Five-0, Knights of the Zodiac.
Thank you. Sure.
Oh.
Okay. Well, you know
We
what
got in
you-
trouble with the
What
police,
you
with
were
my
just saying
cops.
about what you were just saying about how it takes a lot of time and effort, right? So check this out. Kung Fu. What is your guess of the definition of Kung Fu
Oh man.
based off of what you've heard?
I
or
think it's
seen?
I couldn't give you a definition, but I do know that it's one of the most badass martial arts seen on cinema ever, right?
That's a good
That,
definition.
that's how
cool.
I learned about
Okay.
it. That's how I seen it. I
Okay,
was like,
cool.
What's going on?
Okay.
That's Kung Fu. And
Okay,
then,
good.
best movies ever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that you have Kung Fu as well because one of the original meanings of kung fu or gong fu, depending on which dialect, means high skill attained through hard work and long time.
Wow.
So to be a good martial artist, you need kung fu or kung fu. To be a good actor, to get jobs, you need some kung fu.
Wow.
So you have it. You have it.
I appreciate that, brother.
You're welcome.
That really means a lot, man.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much.
My pleasure.
I'm gonna make that a T-shirt.
No, it's true though. It's true.
No,
you
thank
know?
you. Really, that means a
You're
lot.
welcome. You're welcome.
I appreciate that, brother. Well, so do you.
You're welcome.
So do you.
Thank you. But yes, what you were saying, it takes a long time. You know.
Yeah.
It's like gardening, plants. Right. We see the flower or the weed or whatever it is. But with our naked eye, we don't see the seed, you know, with all the roots going up and digging through that dirt and working through the muck and climbing and climbing and climbing, all that training you did, you know, just to get the audition. And then maybe you book it, more than likely not. So you have to go back and audition and practice and get better until you finally book something, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it takes a lot of time. For
me,
me,
starting off, how was that? All the way from Hawaii, right?
From Hawaii. I was born in Hawaii.
Okay.
But I left Hawaii when I was 6. Lived with my parents in Colorado from about 6 until almost 12. And then we moved from Denver, Colorado to Hamburg, Germany.
Whoa.
So from 12 until 18, I grew up in Europe. I lived in Hamburg. I went to a German school. Wow. When I was 17, there was about a almost 6-month period where I thought I wanted to be a monk. I know you've had that in mind too. You're like, I don't like girls. I don't want to eat meat. I want to just be a monk. I get it. You mean that. But seriously, I had seen Jet Li in that movie Shaolin Temple. Jet Li, you know Jet Li the fighter?
Of course, yeah.
Great movie star.
Of course.
Action guy. I saw him in his first movie after he had finished actual competition. Wow. And he played a Shaolin monk. Wow. And, you know, he was spiritual and kind and you know, super cool fighter. Yeah. And I just thought, for me, that resonated for whatever that was. I for whatever reason, it resonated. You know, I had always been curious about different ways of life. You know, I lived in Hawaii, lived in Colorado, and now I was in Europe. Yeah. And you know, I was mixed, you know, my parents are mixed. And so my ancestry is mixed. And how do people live? I don't know why, but I always thought, how do people live? You have all these different martial arts. You have different cuisines. Yeah. How do different people live? And then I see this movie and, you know, he's just a warrior, a physical warrior, but also a spiritual warrior and very disciplined. And at that time in my life, I thought this is what I want to do. Yeah. You know, like you with your acting, I thought, that is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I saved up my money from teaching, from helping my parents in their martial arts school. They have, you know, they're professional kung fu teachers, both of my parents. Wow. So I grew up with martial arts. Yeah. So I would save my money from helping my parents in the martial arts school. I was an amateur drummer, so I played drums.
You did? Nice, man.
I sold my drum set. And
do you still play now?
I haven't played in years, but I did for a long time.
Oh, okay.
And then I made my way. My father went with me to get me settled, but we made our way from Hamburg to Taipei, Taiwan when I was 17. Wow. So at 17, I'm living in my third country, fourth different language, because when I was going to German school, we had French as well. Wow. So now I'm in Taipei, Taiwan, and sorry, you asked me how I got into acting. So but you know what? It's a long...
Dude, I didn't know all of this.
I'm so sorry about this.
I didn't even know all of this.
No, but it's
Talk about most interesting man alive over here. Speaking 4 languages, kung fu, in Germany, Hawaiian, movie star. Come on, what else don't you do?
Thank you. Well, you know, Diego, know, like for you, I think it's kind of a gift, you know. You knew what you wanted to do. Yeah. I thought I knew what I wanted to do. Yeah. But so when I get to Taiwan, you know, after 2 weeks, my dad gets me settled. I'm enrolled in a Chinese language school. I'm enrolled with this incredible martial arts teacher, Zhang Hao Chuan, my martial arts teacher. And I lived in this little apartment, 2-bedroom, 1 bath with my roommate, concrete floor. My bed was made out of this bamboo rolled mat on the floor. Wow. My pillow was one of my t-shirts with my underwear and socks stuffed in it, and then I tied the end. That was my pillow. No blanket, okay? We didn't have any hot water. We lived on the 6th floor of this building, but the elevator had been broken before I got there. It was very, I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
So I would teach conversational German and English to earn some money to help pay for my rent. My father did help me the first couple months, and then I took over. I paid for my own rent, paid for my martial arts school, my Chinese language school, and then the money I had left over, I would use to either take the bus to my different places I had to go and not eat, or eat and just walk longer. So there was a time in my life where I only ate every other day. And that's difficult, sure, but I did it by choice.
Yeah.
I would argue that there are a lot of people that don't have that choice to live like that. I could have easily called it in and gone back to Germany and had an easier life, but I wanted to be there. And the crazy thing is, in retrospect, I can say it was one of the most wonderful, freeing, joyful times in my life.
Yeah.
I had nothing.
Yeah.
And therefore, I had everything.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
I always tell all my pals that, the same thing. I always tell everybody that when some of the happiest times and moments in my life were when I was in LA.
Right.
Tiny little apartment. Rent was like $800.
Right.
I would split it with my friend. We didn't have anything.
Right.
But for some reason, those moments, they hold the most joy in my mind. Those memories, looking back on it, because we had this sort of imagination of anything and everything is possible. And I still have that now.
That's right.
Sure, but back then it was like, dude, we can be anything, anyone here. And whether we're not eating, whether we're not making too much money, it's all right because we got each other.
That's right.
And I'm going to support you and you're going to support me.
There you go.
We're going to build.
Yeah.
And man, I drive by that apartment every once in a while just to like, you just have to appreciate your journey.
Yeah.
'Cause if you don't appreciate the journey, then you're doing it wrong.
Oh, Diego,
You're doing it wrong.
it's also giving you great humility and gratitude. Yeah. You can see it in you. You're a successful young man. You're doing well.
Thank you.
And you're still very grounded and easy to talk with.
On camera, yeah.
On camera, yeah. You should see him. He doesn't go by Diego in real life. It's the ego. The ego. Oh my God. The
I've
ego.
never heard that one before. Yeah. So I my whole life I've always wanted to start martial arts and all this stuff. I just recently started jiu-jitsu.
Right.
I saw your son was doing that as well.
Yes.
He just won a champion.
Yes.
Champion. That's freaking
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you.
Jiu-jitsu is one of the best martial arts.
Yeah,
out there,
I
right?
agree. It's
mentally,
fantastic.
physically, it does it all.
Fantastic. But this is the thing. I think it's a fantastic martial art, but I totally support Bruce Lee's idea in that it is the martial artist that makes the martial art great. Because you take Muay Thai or Taekwondo or different styles of Kung Fu, also great. Certainly, without debate, if you watch MMA or any of those, battle sports, martial sports, jiu-jitsu has a huge reason why a lot of people win, And I would also argue in a street fight, of course, it has. If
there's no other guys around ready to
that's the thing. Tons of value, but it's like right, exactly. But yeah, exactly. But
like if it's one-on-one for sure. But I would never try to take somebody down after a night out in LA. I would because you never know about your surroundings. People are very dangerous. It's very dangerous.
Yes.
Like fighting in a safe place, like on a mat, a jiu-jitsu mat, rolling in the kit. All of that stuff is different from a fight on the street.
Well, like you said,
guy.
Multiple attackers. You know what I mean? So it's like if you have that you're doing jiu-jitsu, fantastic. But just maybe some striking arts in complement to that. You know what I mean?
Doing some boxing.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I'm terrible at both, but
but that's why you're practicing.
But that's the thing too. I think a lot of times people are so scared to start.
Yeah.
And because they're so scared to look silly at the beginning. And it's like, hey, you don't have to be great to start, but you absolutely have to start to be great.
Absolutely.
And it's a thing about, I'm curious to find out who I can be in 10 years, right? I think we all are as artists. We're always like, who can I be in 10 years? Maybe not 10 days, 10 minutes, whatever, but in 10 years, who can we be?
Yeah.
And that's something that I've learned. It's taught me patience, right? I'll have a terrible class and then I'll get the gist of the move and I'll know how to like do all these I know how to like armbar somebody, do the Darcy, all that. And that's something I've learned, patience through jiu-jitsu. But for you, through martial arts, through all of that, what's something that you've really discovered about yourself? Something that's helped you in life and the art of acting and all of that.
Well, back to what you said at the very beginning, that to get skilled at something takes a lot of effort and a long time. So for me, martial arts, I can't say more than anything, but one of the main things certainly is humility. Humility, you know, and respect.
Yeah.
And manners.
Yeah.
Just manners. Yeah. You know, I think all those are very, very important. And
absolutely. It humbles you very quick.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing that slaps you back into reality more than like getting choked out or freaking somebody like, you know. I remember we were at the Japan premiere for Knights of the Zodiac, and, you know, I got back. I was like on cloud nine, you know, top of the world, right? We were in Japan, big premiere, movie's about to come out. And, you know, I like to stay active. So I went to the jiu-jitsu gym. We went down there in Huntington Beach. And I just remember getting choked out by like this like 17-year-old kid. And I was just like, oh, okay, I'm back. You're
back in the real world. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. It's grounding.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. It makes you
glad you're doing
as
that.
if a human being, like, just makes you feel like a human. It gets rid of the BS. Yes. You focus, you dial. It's like a meditation, you know?
I think martial arts is fantastic for that.
Absolutely.
You know, just to keep you present. Yeah. I mean, like you said, if somebody's trying to choke you out or put you in an armbar.
You're not worried about, you know.
No, you're very present.
You're there and there.
Absolutely.
Only, yeah.
And that's one of the wonderful things about martial arts, because in a lot of other sports, you know, you can miss the ball or whatever and nobody gets hurt. You know, you mess up here, you're going to get hurt. You're going to tap out. You're going to choke out, you know, lose your breath.
No, absolutely.
You know,
and, you know, I was talking with my buddy Brian Ortega from the UFC. I was like, you know, your job and my job are in no way or shape or form are they the same in any way. Maybe in little ways, you know, but not like when it comes down to it. But what I was telling him, I was like, your job is one take. Our job, we mess up. Let's do it again. I can do it better. When you go into you know, in the cage and you're in a fight for the UFC or mixed martial arts, whatever, you get one take. And I think that's why martial arts is so well respected around the world, because it's one of the purest kind of it kind of resembles life. You only get one take in life. From the moment you're born to the time you take your last breath. This is one take. And every action, every move you take, it will steer your life in a positive direction or a negative direction. And that's, you know, martial arts movies, those are my favorite. I'd watch a martial arts movie over any movie.
Yeah. No, they're fantastic.
And in life too. I mean, it's just badass. But for you, speaking of that, what do you think is the most beneficial martial arts to learn for screen acting?
For screen acting?
Yeah, not for like self-defense, but for screen acting. Because, you know, we worked with Andy Chang and he told me his. I'll say it after your thoughts.
You know, I can honestly say, I don't know if there's a best, and I don't even know if I have a favorite. I know that, you know, I have never taken once in my life a jiu-jitsu class. Okay. You know, my father did judo and jiu-jitsu, and he taught certain, you know, he focuses more on street fighting, not movie fighting, not even on sport fighting, just, you know, self-defense. So that's what we did. Yeah. But you look at the John Wick movies, and Keanu has been able to really elevate the audience, or not elevate, just bring into focus jiu-jitsu and, you know, not that jiu-jitsu needed it, because everybody knows jiu-jitsu, but people that didn't, you see him doing jiu-jitsu moves, and then you see him doing judo moves.
And
and he's great. And then you see a lot of other of the great, the actors, the action actors and stunt people doing, you know, all the striking arts and all these different things. Yeah. So you can see that I mean, I go back to what Bruce Lee says. It's really the person that's doing the martial art. That's you know, you can make it all. You can make any of the martial arts look very cool on camera. I think one of the most dynamic martial arts, just flamboyant and just all levels of ground fighting, aerial fighting, upside down, would be capoeira.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Really quick, I wanted to hop on here and say a huge thank you to everybody who tuned into today's episode. Your support truly means the world to myself and our crew. And well, I made this podcast essentially to inspire, educate, or at the very least, entertain those who tune in from all around the world. As of right now, we are an ad-free channel. However, if you would like to support the podcast, make sure to check out sangreMia.store and check out all the On My Pod merch we got on there. We got hoodies, t-shirts, hats, coffee mugs, and so much more. Again, huge thanks to everybody for hopping on here and supporting the channel. It truly means the world. And well, that being said, let's get back to the episode. Adios.
You know, the Brazilian martial art capoeira. Shout out to you, Mr. Amen Santo, but he's my teacher.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you do that one as well?
Yes.
Oh,
yes, but I'm
nice.
very much a beginner. I did a movie called Only the Strong.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people thought that I got the audition and booked the movie Only the Strong and then started capoeira. But I actually started capoeira on my own, you know, in November, and the audition for that came in January.
Wow.
Right? So just like you, seeking out your acting classes, getting better, you know, we put stuff out there.
Yeah.
And if we work hard, it always comes back one way or the other, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah,
You
so
have
I
to
started
prepare
capoeira.
yourself, for the opportunity. It's not just right place, right time. It's like right place, right time, right mind.
You put it out there. You know, so I started practicing, and then I got this movie, and then my teacher in real life played my teacher in the movie.
Wow.
But check it out. If you haven't seen any capoeira, check it out.
Guys, check it out.
But it's very cool. And
what's the movie called? Only the Strong?
Only the Strong. It's an old movie. We actually did this. We made this movie 4 years before you were born.
Oh, 93.
You little baby.
I was a baby. I was born in 90. I'm a 97 baby. The year of the ox.
You were in heaven still when we were working on this movie. It's an old movie, but it's very close to my heart because it's a capoeira martial art movie, and we use the martial arts to help these young people better their lives. And to me, again, that's what martial arts is for. Of course, you have the if you train hard, you have some ways and skills to protect yourself, and you get healthy and all that. But it teaches you manners, respect, humility. It just makes you a better person if you take it in its wholeness.
And we see that not just in person with you, but we see that on social media. You stay very active, and you're an advocate for that, for health, wellness. You're always in the gym. You're always running. You'll post on your Instagram. You're like in the mountains at like 5 a.m. I'm like, I need to be like Mark. But I really appreciate that. Just as a human, you promoting that, people taking care of their health, people taking care of their life, their temple.
Yes,
right?
That's right.
For you, how important is health? Like, what has that always been in your life, or is that just recent? Or
no, I mean, as far back as I can remember, it's
obviously with the martial arts and your family, but
yes, with my parents being martial arts teachers, we've always been very active.
Yeah,
and I see, and because I lived in Hawaii, in Colorado, in Hamburg, in Taiwan, and then like you. I travel all over the world, and when I'm in a location, I'm there for 2, 3, 4 months, sometimes longer, and you get to, as actors, we're open-hearted and open-minded, so I try to enjoy whatever that culture is, and observe the lifestyles, and try to learn from it.
Absolutely.
But
do you prioritize your health when you're on location? Like when you're in South Africa, are you like, okay, I need to find my trail to go hike, to go run. I need to find my gym to go work out. I need to do all of that.
Thank you. And yes.
Okay.
Table Mountain, they've got all these different trails. Yeah. And I think Cape Town is beautiful.
Okay.
I went up that trail 10 times.
Wow.
And then I trained in between.
Yeah.
But I loved it. It was very intense, very beautiful. Have you been down to Cape Town?
No, I was supposed to go,
Not
but
yet.
no.
Okay, if you ever get a chance, take it.
I need to go down there.
It's amazing.
We need to visit McKenyu.
There you go, McKenyu.
When he does One Piece again,
Hey, aloha, McKenyu.
Yeah. So would you say that? Because you're always on a project. Every time I call you up, you're always somewhere else, right? So it's like, do you think that helps you kind of take care of not just your health in your body, but in your mind? Does that help you in your craft of acting?
Absolutely. I mean, now that technology is getting better and better.
And very addicting.
Yeah. Well, there's that part.
Myself like
there's that part. But
just scroll off.
I know. There's that part. But in terms of I was listening to these podcasts, neuroscientists, and just talking about health and wellness and mind and all. And as we know intuitively, maybe we don't express it, but we kind of know that everything is connected. And whether you're an academic or an intellectual or a very emotional person, an artist and all that, we're all in our bodies. So yes, our body is our temple, but our body, the skin is also the largest organ, right?
That's right.
And we have all these sensories. So it all matters. Think the way things smell and see and what you hear. So yes.
And all of that, what's cool about our job is every single day, if you pay attention to yourself, your mind, your thoughts, your body, can help you later down the road when you're bringing a different scene to life.
Absolutely.
Right? Like the sensory work, all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
It's really this job is, I mean, the best job in my eyes, right?
Yes. And I think there's a lot of responsibility.
Absolutely.
Because we have this opportunity, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
you have to be disciplined. You have to put in the work. Like you said,
yes.
You were training 2 months before that audition even presented itself.
Yeah, just for me.
You were you were staying ready, you weren't getting ready.
Right. That's right.
And
that's right.
Strong work ethic.
But you know, again, we're humans, so life goes up and down, right? Up and down. Yeah. But yes, we're absolutely it's our responsibility, and I think it's how do you say? It's our obligation. You know, if somebody is going to pay X amount of dollars to get a ticket to see something that we're in, or spend a couple hours watching our show on TV or whatever, most people work really hard. Yeah. And they have difficult lives. If they're going to give us an hour or 2 or 3 of their undivided attention, we should give them the best we have, the best we can. We should prepare for that.
Always.
And then I would argue also not just on camera,
but as well.
Yes, but exactly. And
Always.
I've seen you do that, because if we have the opportunity to travel the world and have these great experiences, we should bring that to our personal interactions.
Always,
and help when we can, and inspire when we can.
Absolutely.
And just be present with people. And I've seen you do that.
Yeah. Anytime anybody comes up to me for a photo, it's like, absolutely. I might not be able to give you 30 minutes of like conversation time, but if you want to, absolutely. It costs me 2 seconds and a click of the button, and it makes your day. Sure. And you support my project. Thank you so much. I appreciate you as a person.
It's a give and take. If 2 people get happy,
absolutely.
That's the way.
I actually just started an online acting school called the Actors Campus, because a lot of these people, they look up to us for our roles, whether it's John Wick, whether it's Knights of the Zodiac. They look up to us, and a lot of these people, they kind of they're curious on the sense of what acting is and all that stuff. So I started teaching everything about acting from start to finish. I mean, there is no finish, but but from the start. And the response I've been getting is incredible.
Oh, fantastic.
I mean, kids are like, oh,
Good.
That's how you do. Oh,
Good,
that's how you
good,
get an
good.
agent, that manager. Oh, that's how I don't get scammed from the $10,000 showcase fee. You know what I mean?
right.
So it's been really cool to be able to connect with everybody online.
Good. Yeah. And the landscape of life is changing so fast.
I know.
With technology.
I was going to ask you about that. Do you think there's do you think there's been a change with people's sense of, especially the younger generation, with their work ethic?
It is so funny
the
for
cravings
you
and
to
like
say the younger generation.
I am
You're
the
like
younger generation.
Little baby.
Listen,
in your 20s, and
Hollywood
I'm 59.
injects us with
You're
vampire
so funny.
blood. I've been around for 300
funny.
years.
Yeah, you're so funny. But it's so funny to see a young man say the younger generation.
I'm an old soul. I get told that a lot. I always forget I'm 25.
That I believe.
But no, seriously, like I was actually talking to my brother about this. He was like, I've never, I'm just gonna say, he said, I've never seen so much motivation online, and yet I've never felt such a sense of, I guess you can say, entitlement from the younger people trying to come up in today's day and age. And I had an instance at a restaurant one time where the waiter was just in a terrible mood. Young guy, terrible mood, served us terribly. And, I tipped him out, and then when we left, I saw him, and, I kind of brought him, and I was like, hey man, like, what's going on? Why are you in this mood? Like, you're just bringing everybody down. Like, what are you doing? He's like, man, this isn't where I want to be. Like, I know I deserve more. I could be more. I'm like, absolutely. You're right. You can be more. You will be more, but you're here right now. You're bringing everybody down. You're bringing yourself down. Like, what is this? You're not helping me. You're not helping nobody here. No. This isn't the final step. People have to remember, this is not the final step. This is the step that you have to step on to climb up and up and up. I've done it. You've done it. A lot of people have done it, but something that I've seen anytime I speak to, people trying to come up in the game, in any field of work, they just want now, tomorrow. And if they don't have it tomorrow, everyone gets brought down with them. So something that I really want to tell the young people is you have to have patience. You have to work hard and you have to show up for yourself every day. Are you waking up early? Or are you sleeping until 2 p.m. and then checking Instagram first thing in the morning? Like, no.
Have you been spying on me? No, I'm joking.
Yeah. But for you, I mean, being a family man, being in this game for so long, what are your thoughts?
Oh man, that's a huge question. A lot of it is what is our culture? What is our culture? And then I think what I need to ask myself, what I would encourage everyone to ask themselves is, what is a good life? What is a good life, Diego? Let's try you. Okay. For you.
Yeah.
What is a good life?
You like that voice change?
Let's do you, Diego. What is a good life?
I want to make lots of money and a big house. No, for me, it's if I'm getting really, really, really specific. It's funny.
Yeah, whatever you want, whatever a good life to you is.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I actually carry all my goals and my I have like a little piece of paper that has all my goals. For me, I want to act in movies and TV shows. I want, not tomorrow, not even in 10 years, probably, maybe in 10 years. I want to have an Academy Award. I want to work with the best of the best because I believe that I can be one of the best in this field of work.
Okay.
And that's my work. And then with that, I want to be able to take care of my family and have good health, be a loving father, be a loving husband, and take care of my mother, my brothers, my father. And that's it. I want a simple life. Obviously, I'm doing a podcast. Yes, obviously, I have the online acting course, but it all kind of connects back to one goal: to be a great artist and to be a great human and inspire the youth. That's it. However much money comes with that, whatever, I just want to make sure that I can take care of the people I love. That'd be a great life for me. Very great.
In my feeling of you, you're already a good human. I would be very curious to see when we talk in 5 years, if what you just said has changed at all. My guess is it'll change by tomorrow because, every day we learn things, right? Yeah.
I swore I'd never do a podcast.
Yeah. There you go. Here we are.
I swore. I was like,
excuse me,
never
it's not a podcast. It's a podcast.
How about you, though?
Yeah.
What about you?
What's
the definition of a good life for Mark? And everyone's definition should be different. I think that's something that everyone needs to understand.
And changing.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, my good life at 59 has gone back closer to what it was when I was 17. I haven't had my own car since I haven't had my own car for over 5 years now.
Wow.
Because growing up, the first 6 years in Hawaii, we lived near the Alawai Canal, Waikiki, Honolulu, and we walked. I walked to kindergarten, first grade, and all that. And then we moved, and then in Colorado, we lived a ways away from school, but my brother and I would walk to school. And then in Germany, you have fantastic public transportation. So at 11, 12, 13 years old, you and your friends can go all over the city without having to get rides. We're on the metro, we're on the buses, we walk. So for me, I know that this America is more of a car culture, and there are great cars, and you've got an awesome car. You're welcome. But for me, for my life, a good life includes, and this sounds strange, but this includes not having to drive, meaning to walk. To walk to where I want to go, or to take public transportation. I love walking.
Yeah.
I didn't know it, but I'm kind of a walking meditator.
I was gonna say, do you think that gives you a sense of like connection to who you are, to your mind, to your soul, and like
yes,
because I
100%, 100%.
I love walking.
Okay,
when I used to go on dates,
yes,
it had to be a walk.
Diego,
I couldn't sit.
Keep the walking in your life.
Yeah, I need to. I need to do more of it.
Because as as technology progresses and science like that, you're going to see how walking is one of the things that most people don't have to do every day, so they don't. And our bodies change, our minds change. You ever see that great movie? I'm going to plug it. Is it okay?
Absolutely.
Wall-E.
Yeah, of course.
Watch it every year.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, when they're all like in the machines and they don't got to walk nowhere and they got everything there.
Think about our lives. Think about our lives. Now, you look at the places where people live longer, live healthier, have less cancer. Yeah. They have walking in their lives.
Yeah.
They're physical. Now, the great thing is you go out of your way to be physical.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I would add to that regime walking. Yeah. It makes you more present. It connects you to the ground. Yeah. Your senses, your skin, your eyes, and
you
your ears
get more
are out
creative as well.
Thank you.
Creativity kicks in. I memorize anytime I memorize my lines.
Yes,
I'm walking.
Okay,
and I'm pacing I'm pacing like in my room, like
it's okay. So
I need to go outdoors more. Yeah,
take your lines and go outside. Absolutely. Walk in the park. Walk in the hills. Yes.
You know, it's funny.
Anytime you know this.
Anytime I would go on a first date with a girl, it would always be a walk.
There you go.
It always had to be a walk.
Okay.
I hated the idea of and maybe this is just me, you know, maybe I'm an oddball, but I hated the idea of sitting down across from somebody eating that I don't really know. It always felt like a job interview. It just didn't feel right. Eventually, sure, date night, whatever. But even now, my girlfriend, I'm like, hey, sit next to me and let's eat. And then after we eat, let's go for a walk.
Yeah, Fantastic. So a good life for me is to live in a walking culture. Yes, we can have a car. Like I use my to get here. I used my wife's car, no problem. Yeah. But I felt like I didn't want my own. Yeah. We could share. I want to walk. I want to force myself to walk more. And where we live, nothing's close. So I'm walking a long ways.
Really?
Yeah, but I've been known to walk 14 miles in our little area.
Kidding.
And the crazy thing is, when my brother-in-law came to visit Europe for the first time, we went to a few different cities, and we were doing anywhere from 10 to 16 miles a day.
Wow!
And he loved it.
Wow!
He's from Texas and was not used to walking, but he loved it.
Do you have certain kind of walking shoes that you use? Because I know if I walk around my boots, my feet are done.
Right.
Like half a mile.
If I know that I'm walking a lot, I do wear different shoes. Okay, absolutely.
Do you have a certain brand that you like?
Certain brand.
What brand does Mark want to work with?
Okay, so
endorsements. You guys hear here, all right? You guys hear here.
Vivo has a great barefoot walking shoe.
Oh yeah,
Vivo. It's called Vivo. They're great. But I can use, these are okay too. Flat soled, minimum sole, minimum drop, all that.
Do you wear the toe spreader shoes?
Those are fantastic. I use toe spreaders at home just to get my
I need to get some of those.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. That's how natural your foot wants to be.
Yes, think about this.
Are so thin,
our connection to the ground, our feet, right? Roots. Roots. So it's kind of like a tree. How high do you want that tree to go? You better have deep roots to support that. So it goes both directions. So a walking culture is what I prefer. You just notice when you look at people, and just observe. You see so much of their life, right? And whether you consciously think about that or not, we all do that. So I just observe, and the way that I see my life, I learn from other people. Oh, I'd like to do this. What do you do? How do you live? I learn, But lots of water. People talk about that, but water is really important. A lot of people don't drink water.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
They say that when you wake up first thing in the morning, first thing you should do is drink at least a cup of water, because you sweat a lot of the body. Yeah.
Good.
As soon as I wake up, I drink water. I go get sunlight. I stretch. Every morning I stretch.
Good.
If I I feel like when I don't stretch, my body feels restricted and my mind tends to just kind of tense up when I'm in public, when I'm doing interviews, press, on set. I try to get that out of the way in the first hour.
Good.
And then I do meditation, I do a prayer, hit the gym.
Fantastic.
I handle all the physical stuff because I know I'm about to dive into my mind for the rest of the day.
Good. Diego, that's fantastic. Because look, you embody it, right?
Yeah.
And you think about this. I mean, if we have, and I'm speaking, so one of my teachers, she's a great mentor, and I've been studying under her for 18 years. Patsy Rodenberg, and she's a master at voice and presence and speech and text. Works
and she's worked with some major actors as well. Apart from just the grand Mark Dacascos.
Yeah, no, come on.
She worked with 007 and
Daniel Craig. Ray Fiennes, Judi Dench, Orlando Bloom. Wow. And she was the head of voice at the Guildhall School of Drama, Music and Drama in London for years. Board of advisors and head of voice at the Royal Shakespeare Company, worked at the National Theatre. So she's worked with greats. Wow. But she focuses on her feet and embodiment. Make sure that the useless tensions, the unnecessary tensions are away from the body, i.e. stretching and warming the body up so that your voice and your mind is clear.
That's something I struggle with at times. If I'm not comfortable on a set, my voice sounds like
all of us,
and I'm just like, I'm like in my head, I'm like, what is going on right now? Who is this?
So just
character?
remember, breathe and figure out where those tensions are, and do what you need to do to release them. Yeah, and then everything flows.
It's interesting. You said something about the feet being planted, or like having this sense of connection. I have noticed that, maybe not anymore because it's been a while since I've had to audition in person. But I remember being being an actor, a young actor, trying to come up in the game. And I remember just swaying my energy forward, back, from leg to leg.
Yes.
And I remember it was on those where I was like, that one didn't feel too good. But it was the ones where I felt planted, bold. This is who I am.
Yes,
I'm
Diego,
not backing down.
100%.
That's when I felt the best.
And why did you sway? Because you had, this is just my opinion based off of my learning from Patsy Rodenberg. Yeah. You have all this energy going on. You're all emotional, right? Yeah. And if you don't train to get those those unnecessary tensions away, we kind of diffuse, or you don't want to own all that. So you diffuse by doing the sway and you let the energy go out so you don't have to deal with all of it, as opposed to just planting and letting it come out in your text and in your emotions. Yeah. You know what I mean? I remember, do you know Rutger Hauer? Have you heard of Rutger Hauer? I knew it. The original Blade Runner. Okay. Yeah. So, and maybe you haven't seen it, but
I've seen the 2049 one with
so Rutger Hauer is back in my generation.
Okay. Yeah.
And I thought he was fantastic. He's passed away, but he was a brilliant actor, and I had the good fortune of working with him on 3 different shows. Oh wow. And he was wonderful. Wow. But the first show we did was and this is ironic because I met you in Hungary. Yeah. I met Rutger Hauer in Hungary. So I meet all these great actors in Hungary.
Dude, yes. That was an experience. I do want to add on to that. I want to talk about that.
Okay, but may I finish this first?
Yeah, sorry about that.
So I meet because this pertains to your swaying.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'm doing a scene with Rutger Hauer.
Yeah.
And we're doing just, our close-ups. And I start doing this. And I think it's the same thing as with your swaying. Yeah. I had all this.
You did it like not knowing.
I did it in the scene. Okay. I'm doing this like that, Yeah. And we're doing our scene. Yeah. And I see Rutger and he's staying in it. Yeah. And then they yell cut on the first take. And Rutger says to me, Mark, stop moving your head. You're diffusing your power. He knew. We know. You knew this because you felt it yourself, right? Yeah. So
it's like this, like a. It happens when I'm nervous, I'll have like these like things that I don't even know what I'm doing.
Diego, this is the thing. And this is going to be our challenge, my opinion, and based off of what I learned from Patsy, this is going to be your challenge and my challenge each and every day we go on the set. Because you may get rid of the swaying and all of a sudden you've got an eye twitch. Or you're clenching your buttocks or something. Or like me, I get real tight jaws.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And all these little tensions inhibit our voice.
It's so funny. I literally have a list on my phone of bad habits that I do on set. And every time, I bring my dad onto most sets that I do, that I'm on, and I'm like, hey, Dad, make sure I don't do any of these things. And it's like a list of like 20 things. My dad's like, how the heck am I supposed to do all this?
Yeah. Diego, I would just say, next time,
training,
keep practicing, and then try, when you get a chance and you feel like those nerves kicking in and you're like, oh no, I'm going up in 30 seconds. Yeah. Push against somebody, just push against a wall or push against the fellow actor if you feel comfortable. Just put some pressure there. And that usually helps drop the voice and the breath. Okay. And you get grounded. And that way, instead of having a twitch or a sway or a head bobble like me or tight voice, you get your breath down in the belly and then you just speak it. And all that energy and emotion you have, instead of diffusing it, you just own it and it comes through. It'll be in your eyes and in your voice. I promise you.
I'm going to try that.
Okay, try that.
I'm going to try that.
Okay. And if I see you on our specified day, we'll work on that. That's what we're working on.
Oh yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say if I see you on set doing a bad
What's set
something, I'm gonna smack you.
On set for sure. We'll check each other.
Yeah.
But when we do the workshop and if
sure.
we work together, you know,
would
just
love that.
plain, we'll do that.
I would love that. You know, there's this one, you know, every time I'm working with a young actor and I'm coaching them, I always tell them, hey, your nerves are coming from a place of fear. And this can be applied in any field, not just acting. It can be applied in any field. Your nerves are coming from the fear of losing, the fear of failure, the fear of looking foolish or humiliation. You have to change that focus. You are your thoughts. Maybe not all the time, but they come out in some way, shape, or form, right? So what you have to do, this is, you know, you get out onto this, but what I tell everybody is you have to change your thoughts and redirect that focus. Instead of being afraid of losing, you have to think, I love what I'm doing. I love this game. You have to channel that energy. Your love for what you're doing has to be superior than your fear of losing. Because obviously I have a fear of losing, and on any set I do, I'm like, what if I suck? What if I can't do the scene? What if the director hates me? That'll always be there. It will never go away. And if it does go away, chances are you don't care anymore.
I was gonna say,
it'll always be there.
I agree with you.
So the goal isn't to like suppress that voice completely and make it like vanish, because it'll always be there. But just make the other voice louder. Understand why you started it. Hey, I'm doing this because I love it. I love the freedom that comes with it. I love the connection on a set. I love bringing a scene to life and all of that stuff. And once you place your focus there, you kind of forget about the other, you know, negative voice. But that's my trick. No. That's something that I do. And I look at my hands too. I was just saying this yesterday on the pod. I have this one trick where I literally just look at my hands and I'm like, I have the power to create, you know, because with our hands, we built stuff, right?
Yeah.
And our hands like get us to where we need to be. You know, they get us our coffee, all that stuff. It sounds so corny, but like
it works.
We're alive. We're here. We're able to create, and we have the potential to be anyone, right?
Yeah.
So that helps me. But I'm gonna try the.
Yeah. No, yeah. I love what you said. I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you. You know, we get nervous. Yeah, because, you know, I think two factors. You know, certainly because we care, which is a good thing. We want to care, and then that manifestation of the nerve of caring comes out in nerves and twitches and all that other stuff. You know? So that's just repetition. Yeah, you have to practice. Totally. And then, like you said, you found tools and things for you that work. Yeah. You know, everybody's individual, so you find your things. But in my experience, you know, it starts and ends with the breath, just like life. Ooh. Yeah,
I like that's deep. Ooh. That's deep.
But you know what I'm saying? If your breath is in place, if you're breathing, we have a shot.
You're absolutely right, and it's almost like a breath in your own pace. Because sometimes you work with actors and you can tell they're very nervous. They're almost trying to. They're almost like out of breath, right? They're like out of breath, trying to like match. Yes. It's like own your breath, own your pace, because then Diego, the other actor works off of it.
Diego, that's it.
Creates magic.
Think about this. What's the first thing we do when we're born? Yes. Yeah. And the last thing.
Wow.
And you did it. When I said, "What's the first thing?" You went like this.
I didn't even realize.
You knew. You see what I'm saying? But you didn't know, but you knew. Does that make sense? So that's 100% that is breath. You get that breath down, and then you and I and your actors you're working with, they have chances. In breath, breath.
I love that. So yeah, I really want to ask you about, speaking about nerves and performing and being on sets and movies. You've worked with major actors, right? Such as Keanu Reeves, one of my favorites, one of my idols, right?
He is so cool.
How is he?
He's wonderful. He's wonderful.
Yeah.
You do not have to be nervous about him not being everything we hear about, because he is. At least in my experience. Yeah. He was wonderful. He was wonderful.
You guys had an epic battle scene in John Wick. John Wick 3.
John Wick 3. Yes,
how was that, prepping up for that, shooting that movie? Let's start with how'd you get that role? Like how'd it come? Is it straight offer, audition? Like how'd it go?
So the thing was, I was working with my teacher, Patsy Rodenberg. I was in New York, and we got the call to go see Chad Stahelski, the director. And he was prepping for John Wick 3. So I went in the morning, And it was wonderful to meet Chad and see Chad and meet some of his crew. And he told me about the movie, and he offered me initially sort of a cameo role, doing a fight scene and a dialogue scene with Halle and or Keanu in Morocco.
Okay.
And I said, of course, I would love to work with you.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan,
Yeah.
as many of us are. And then a few months later, it's now in June. I wasn't supposed to work until October, right? Okay. So I got a text from Chad in June and says, "Hey, Dacascos, please call me in the morning." So I call him Monday morning, and I say, "Hey, Chad, what's going on?" And he goes, "Yeah, things have changed." And I said, "Okay." He says, "The original actor for the lead villain, Zero, is it's not happening, and we'd like to Keanu and I would like to invite you." And I said, "I would be honored. Yes, please." And he said, "Why don't you read the script first?" I said, "Chad, no need. Yes, please." He says, "Dacascos, read the script." He sends the script. Of course, it's great.
Yeah.
I call back. I said, "Chad, I would love to. You're open to collaborating? Like we can play with the character?" He goes, "Absolutely." Yeah. I said, "Excellent." So I was in LA. Chad and everybody was in New York, right? And I said, "Chad, when do you want me there?" He says, "Come tonight." I went, "Oh." so the deal is made. I leave on a midnight flight. I get there Tuesday morning. I shave my head on Wednesday, and Thursday's my first day of shooting. So I had no prep. I prepped in between takes. I prepped after work
there.
every on the weekends I did everything I could.
Sometimes that's like the best, just to throw yourself in the fire, right?
I agree with you. I didn't have time to be nervous.
Exactly.
Because I went, oh my gosh, these sets are crazy. The first day of shooting, I'm there with Lawrence Fishburne, Asia Kate Dillon, and then Angelica Houston's there. It was just crazy, Lance Reddick, and then of course Keanu and all these people. And I was already a fan of Wick, so I could have easily gone, whoa, and been overwhelmed. Yep. But like you said, I was so busy focusing on the work, on the words, material, on the character, on the fight choreography. Roots, Who is this character? I'm with Keanu and Chad. We're building this character day by day because I didn't have rehearsal or prep.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Sometimes, like you said, sometimes it works to your advantage because you have to focus and you don't get time to be nervous.
It's like it sounds silly, but it's like when you're driving. Have you ever driven to Las Vegas from California? This is such a weird analogy.
I don't know if I have.
Okay, well,
maybe I have.
It's a really dark road. Yeah. There's no lights.
Okay,
and when you're driving, all you can see is.
When you mean there's no lights,
like when you're driving on the road, it's just desert. It's just pure desert and like a one-way road.
If I have driven there, because I'm an old man, I can't remember. But if I have...
Was it during the day?
It was during the day.
Okay, me and my girlfriend, we drive at night.
Of course you do. Of course.
We're night owls.
Because you're Diego.
No, there's D-Ego.
You're Diego.
But anyway, this analogy, and I think I forgot who told me this. It might have been one of my acting coaches, but they said, working on a movie is kind of like driving to Las Vegas, right? It's like you take it scene by scene. Mm-hmm. You know you're going to be there for a long time. You have to do a whole movie. But if you overwhelm yourself with every single scene that you have to do, and the last moment and this moment, just focus on the scene that's coming up. Obviously prep up. Make sure that you're fully prepped in every way, shape, and form.
And you're in the right timeline and
exactly,
all that. Yes.
But once you start set, just focus on the days ahead of you.
Absolutely.
And it's sort of like driving, right? When you're driving in Las Vegas, you can't see the whole freaking road. You just see those 500 feet ahead of you. And you just focus on that. And before you know it, you finish the movie. It's a wrap. And then you do some incredible badass fighting with freaking Keanu Reeves.
But I love what you just said, because that's kind of a good plan for dealing with your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
You prep, you see, how the scenes
obviously
are,
map it out, know your route. Yeah.
But then you focus on. Yeah, I think that's fantastic. Yeah.
When we were speaking in Budapest, you told me about a scene that you had with Keanu where it was, I think you improvised it or something like that. You said something about like
our couch scene.
Yes. So how was it originally, and then how did you change it?
Okay, so this is the thing. So we have this scene where John Wick and Zero have a private moment before before the meeting with the third person. And when we set that up, when Chad set that up, he said, before I give you any notes or give you my ideas, why don't you guys just do whatever you want? in rehearsal, on camera rehearsal, and we'll take it from there. And so I had a certain idea, but it was kind of a risky move because I didn't change any lines.
Yeah.
But delivery and physicality wasn't necessarily inside what was written.
Yeah.
But I thought it was an interesting choice.
Yeah.
You know? So in the script it said my character says I'm a fan. But I thought, how do you heighten that? You know, you could be a fan of somebody, or you could be a fan boy. And I just thought it could be very interesting for these two killers, you know, one being a fanboy of the other.
Yeah.
So that's with that in mind, when Chad said action on rehearsal, camera rehearsal, Keanu walks in, he goes past the first chair and then goes to the sofa and sits in the middle of the sofa, right? And anybody with decency and manners would give some space and either sit in the first stool or at the edge of the sofa. But I thought, character-wise, this is his one and only chance to be with John Wick.
Yeah.
So I slowly passed by the first chair, and then I walked to the sofa, and not looking at Keanu, I start sliding over. So far over, and this is a rehearsal, right? So Keanu's sitting there, and he doesn't know what I'm doing. He's like kind of like eyeing like that, staying in character, but like looking. And then I keep moving closer and closer and closer until my butt is touching his shoulder. And I have the first line, right?
Yeah.
So he can't even say anything yet unless you add something. And then I slowly slide down in character, my butt down his arm and meet his waist. And I'm pressed up so close to him, you can feel the body tense up, right? But he's so cool because he kind of wanted to laugh, but I felt like he also wanted to punch me. but he stayed in character. He was awesome. He stayed in character. And I'm so grateful to Chad, who didn't call cut on rehearsal, or to Keanu calling cut. They just stayed in there and let us play. So I stayed there, right? Now I have the first line. So you have these two guys with ample space for us to sit anywhere. And we're sitting close together like little boyfriend, girlfriend, right? And I'm staying stoic. And Keanu was like staying in John Wick character. He looks at me and I don't say anything. And he looks again and I don't say anything. And then you can see him go, and he scoots over, right? I still don't say anything. And he looks again and he's like, so then he moves over to this chair. Then I make sure that nobody's in the room. I slide over to him and then I break character for a moment, you know what I mean? And then we start the scene. So we do the scene and Keanu, you know, we finish it and Chad yells on rehearsal. He says, cut, you know. And Keanu starts laughing, and he's like, "That's too funny, man. We can't do that. Can we do? We can't do that." You know, he's questioning, right? Chad walks in, and he's not laughing. And I thought, okay, well, this is where Dacascos gets fired. You know,
was that your first scene too?
That was our first.
One of the first.
That was our first day together. Yes,
wow.
We've done that.
With you and John.
Yeah, yes.
You and Keanu.
Yes, we've done the little outside scene, and then we came in to do this. And so we don't really, you know, he doesn't know me. I love him, but he doesn't know me.
Yeah.
You know. And they had that character kind of written as a Japanese version of John Wick, right? And then I played it like that. So so he's laughing, but like that's too funny. Oh, can we do that? You know, he's not sure. And Chad comes walking in, and he's not laughing. And I seriously thought, okay, well, I'm out of here now, right? Oh, and he goes, that's not how I saw the character being played, but I like it. And I went, okay, let's keep it. And that's how we started doing it. And then scene by scene, you know, Chad would ask me to play it the safe route, you know, straight, you know,
to have a take
way,
like that,
like that.
Yeah.
And then he'd direct me and have me play it different ways, so that we could have a little bit more color in the character. Because, you know, think about it. Yeah, you could be a killer, you could do this, but at least in our minds, because it's a collaborative effort, right? You know, he's a certain way when he's with his people. Yeah. But with John in a private moment, it's just us. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it was so lovely because Keanu and Chad could have easily said, no, we don't want that. Let's just play it the safe way. Yeah. And they let us play it like that.
Wow. That's an incredible story.
Thank you.
So I did want to add on to that, you know, actors, when you're on a set, when you're working on a scene, when because directors have so many things they have to take care of. They have to take care of the lights, the script, the rewrites, the production, the sunlight going down. So many things, right? An actor has one job: bring the character to life as best as you can.
That's right.
Bring interesting choices and have a sense of freedom there. A great director will always trust the actors and will always watch their ideas at least once, right? And then,
I agree.
And that's something that I love working with directors who give you this freedom.
Yeah.
Right. I just worked with John Stahlberg. He did Bad Hombres, where I play an immigrant coming into the U.S. And he also did Muzzle, which is number 5, I think, right on Apple TV with Aaron Eckhart. Yeah, and I'm like, I have like a mustache. I'm playing a cop.
Oh, I saw that photo. You look great. That looks
thanks,
great.
man.
That looks
Thank you.
great.
But anytime I'm working with him, I'm always like, hey, John, what do you think I should do? Should I do it kind of like, he's like, hey, just show me something, and if it's bad, I'll tell you. But he's like, but trust your gut. I think as artists, sometimes we're always like doubting. We're like, I don't know, it's gonna suck. You just have to trust it and commit to it, right?
I agree. Yeah,
commit to it 100%, and then show it in the world. And if it's bad,
you change it. You make modifications.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Well, see, that's the advantage of doing TV and film is that we can do a second take and third take
in theater.
Yeah, in theater, which I think I would advocate for all actors and us to get on stage and just go for it, man. Just go for it.
It's where the growth comes.
Stand and deliver.
Yeah.
No second takes, just stand and deliver.
No, absolutely. So, you worked with Keanu. You worked with one of my, somebody I really look up to, Sean Bean.
Yes.
So I didn't get a chance to work. I don't even think I got a chance to meet him.
He's wonderful. He's wonderful.
I think
man.
I might have. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
I think I was leaving and he just like got there.
Right.
But because
no scenes together, right?
No scenes together at all. No.
Yeah, because
I didn't have any scenes with you either in the movie.
But it seems like we got to interact in between,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
we always see each other on set.
Yeah. And I was always like, I thought those were your real tattoos. I was like, this guy's like badass. Like this guy's a gangster right here.
No, you're so funny.
And then you're like, oh no, these are just tattoos.
Yeah, no, I've had I love those tattoos. I had them on my hands too. Mm-hmm. But I don't even have one tattoo.
Wow. Me neither. Yeah. I don't want to
look at us babies.
But I just don't want to be on set like an hour early covering it.
Well, it's smart because that way you can have tattoos on for the show. You can go from character to character.
I don't want the fake skin.
It's just pragmatic,
I'm just maybe one day.
Yeah.
Maybe. I do have a scar on my back that's like it's weird. I never had it growing up.
Yeah.
And then it hit me when I was like 14. It's like this dark patch of skin right over my right shoulder.
Okay.
But I was thinking down the line, maybe not now, but I was like, well, if I'm gonna have a mark on my skin, why not make it something that I want? I'm not embarrassed about it. I like it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I think it looks cool.
Yeah.
But I was considering getting a tattoo there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hey,
maybe.
I think some
maybe like your face, just
yeah.
Mylock and Nero right there.
Well, that's the thing though. It's smart though because if you do have a tattoo, you are coming in early.
Yeah.
So pragmatically, unless your character has your tattoos, you're adding extra time to your work.
Yeah. No, a lot of my students, they ask me, like, hey, is it okay if I have tattoos? Can I still be an actor? I'm like, yeah, you can still be an actor. But it's the rules are going to be a little more specific or you might have to hide them.
Exactly.
Personally, I wouldn't get a tattoo.
Yeah. Well, it's easier because then you have blank slate. You can always get tattoos put on.
We're the empty canvas, right? Now it's like, okay, let's draw.
From character to character. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I wanted to touch on we talked a lot about fan interactions and we meet all these cool people at events and Comic-Con, WonderCon, all this stuff, right? Have you ever had a crazy fan interaction, like one that like kind of like frightened you? Because I've had my fair share. I've said them on several episodes, but yeah, I'm kind of curious if you've had one that sticks to you.
Yeah,
maybe not even crazy, or just most memorable.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of uncomfortable, but it was kind of cool at the same time. I was with my father-in-law and a couple of friends, and we had just had the premiere of a French movie I did in Paris. Wow. Many, many years ago. And a fan came up and just smooched me.
Whoa!
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yep. And she was not here.
Oh no!
And my father-in-law is right here.
No!
And my friends are right here. Oh yes.
Oh my god! In Paris? Is
In Paris. So it was like really cool and very awkward. And
Yeah. Bonjour,
yeah,
Mark.
yeah. And my father-in-law is like staring at me, and I'm like,
No manches, bro.
So that was interesting. My wife does know about it.
Okay, yeah.
So she does. She does know about. She does know about
So
it.
you're not allowed back in Paris.
And
You're
no,
not allowed
no,
back
no.
there alone.
Yeah. And my father-in-law was
No boys
there,
trip
and he
to
knows
Paris,
I didn't engage. But that was a lot of fan love, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really
It happens.
funny.
Yeah.
No, yeah, of course.
But I would say, you know, fortunately, nothing negative. I'm very grateful because the fans have been lovely, and you know, because of our fans, we have work.
And you have a wide range. I mean, you've done so many different projects.
Thank you.
So many different projects.
Thank you.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you have like your own steak, correct? Right? Like sure, I think so, right? I think I've seen on your Instagram.
Yes. I'm one of the partners.
Thank
you. We'll send you some. We'll send you some.
Barbecue,
okay, yeah,
man.
we'll send you some. I'm one of the partners. But my wife and Brian are the real bosses. But
really?
but I am on the
incredible.
On the package. I am on the package.
Yeah.
I'm one of the partners.
Are you? I mean, I'm assuming
culinary
like,
champions. Yeah, we'll send you some.
Yeah,
we'll send you
I
some.
would love some. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the worst chef in the world. I'll have my girlfriend cook it.
Okay, this is easy. You can put it on the grill or pan fry. It's easy.
Yeah. You know, people obviously know you from so many different roles, and people look up to you. But who do you look up to? Who's been like your biggest inspiration for cinema and life, all of that?
For cinema, actually, Bruce Lee. Not just because of his physicality and his, you know, movie stardom and his acting, but I love his sensibility and his philosophy and his quotes.
Yeah.
I love that he inspires and is just so open-minded and open-hearted and curious. He's curious. So he's, you know, in terms of movies, he's probably the biggest influence is Bruce Lee.
Wow.
And then in life, so many.
Yeah.
Look, you know, my wife and daughter, we talked about you. You're a young guy and you have humility. You know, and you've done well, and you have great manners. So you inspire me. You know, Jose, who you work with, he inspires me. Young, you know, people. Yes, you. You know, but people that work hard, that treat people with respect, that have manners, that are present, they inspire me. You know, yeah.
That's well said.
So the great thing is, I have a lot of inspiration all around.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good thing.
And it's our fuel as actors, right?
Yes, it
keeps
is.
us
Yes, it is.
going, and it keeps us learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you were to give, you know, a young aspiring actor some advice right now, whether it's younger you or coming up in today's day and age, now that it's a little different with technology and acting and
so Diego,
you know,
I'm 59. When I was young, I had a record player. Some people may not even know what a record player is, but it's a machine, and you had a plastic disc with a needle, and that's how we played our music.
Wow.
And then I went through the time of cassette tapes, 8-track, and then cassette. Way before it came to digital, you know, CDs and all these things.
And all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, on my 26th birthday, I was on tour with a rock group called Poison. Okay. They were do you remember Poison, Jose? Right? Every rose has its thorn. Bret Michaels in the group. So I'm on tour, and I was Bret Michaels' personal martial arts teacher. Wow. And for my 26th birthday, I got a Sony Walkman. Wow. And I thought it was the coolest thing. You know, that's how old I am. Yeah. So yes, life has changed a lot. So what would I advise or suggest for young and upcoming actors? Okay, this will be controversial because I know you like controversy. And I guess a revolutionary act because I would say that a lot of people don't want to do it anymore. But to read Shakespeare out loud, read the Greek plays out loud, because you read those and speak them and feel them. And you see that so many of our stories, if not all of our stories, come from the ancients anyway. I mean, what you've heard, paraphrasing all these different terms that, no new story, just differently told, right? But it's really nice to, I don't know, for me, it's somehow comforting to read something that was written over 400 years ago or over 2,000 years ago and see how the dynamics were the same as now when it comes to human interaction.
Yeah.
It's all there. And I don't know, somehow for me, it's comforting to read that it's a day-to-day challenge. It's the same in so many ways. Technology has advanced, but the question is, have humans made any progression? Right? As smart of minds as we have on this earth, and I would argue more good hearts than not, why do we have so many challenges that we have right now? I mean, think about that. Do most countries not have enough resources to feed their people? I would argue they do. So how come we have all these issues? And these issues, I would argue, are from the leaders and governments. And what are leaders and governments? They're the humans of our places, right? But on the other hand, if no human is perfect, why should we expect any government or leader to be perfect? We shouldn't, right? I end that with, I am of the mindset strongly that if we had more female leaders in the world, it would be a better place. My mother was a Kung Fu teacher. I've had two managers in my life. They've both been female. I have a very strong and smart wife. And I think we need to balance the yin and yang, that Chinese symbol of the yin and yang, the black and white and all the colors in between. I think we need balance. Imagine a world with no rain, just sunshine, right? Or just rain.
Yeah.
No, did I say that right?
Yeah.
Imagine a world with no... See, now we're second guessing. Right? Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Imagine
I
only
hear you
sun and
saying
no rain, or
yin and
only
yang.
rain and no sun.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's chaos.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's what happens. Men are wonderful, but so are women. And we need that balance at the top, or else we have what seems like is going on right now.
Yeah.
All of these, violent conflicts. And how can we have how do you have I'm getting political. Is that okay?
It's totally fine. That's going to lead me to my next question.
How do we have possibly supply chain problems when it seems to me in this country, in our country alone, I'm talking about the United States of America right now.
Of course.
We have great minds and all these things going on. Why would we need anybody else to build anything for us? It seems like we have got great minds and people and passionate people and artistic people and creative people. Why do we not make our own things? And then you go, oh, I know, greed and profit. And I talk about America because if we are one of the leaders of the world, I think we need some help from our women. Because if we're leading the world, where's our world going?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
With all the technology, all the technological advances.
That's right.
And I'll leave it there before my wife. She's gonna hear me. She's gonna hear me on your podcast saying, "You said that. You said that."
No, that's
but you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That being said, will we ever see Mark in politics? Will we ever see you as a politician down the line, or what's or are we having too much fun on
Diego?
I personally, I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do it either. And I think our role as artists, is very, very important. And I see that especially as I get older now, because I don't know how much longer. At 59, what is the average age now? 70, early 70s
Until we
or
get
something?
the Neuralink. Until we get the Neuralink.
Okay, yeah, right. So I don't know how much longer I have, but at least at this stage of my life, I'd like to help in any way I can.
Yeah.
And as an artist, you're able to travel and meet people and have these wonderful podcasts with people that inspire you,
likewise,
and that you have, an interesting sensibility. Even when, for example, even if you and I feel like we have a lot of same, sensibilities, but even if we didn't, if we respected each other,
absolutely,
it would be really good. And I think
even to just hear one another out.
Yes, and I hope on your podcast as you go on that you invite people that maybe have different ideas from you, because that's how we learn from each other, And if you have respect for each other, you can have these incredible conversations and walk out. Maybe you've been moved in your thought process somewhat or not, but at least you have a better understanding of the other side.
Exactly. You'll be able to see their point of view a little better and understand it. You won't be so quick to judge. I think a lot of the anger and the division that's happening nowadays, I think it's coming from a sense of you're wrong, I'm right, nobody else.
Absolutely.
And it's like, hey, why don't you just try to listen for once? Yeah. Maybe at the end of it, you won't switch sides, whatever, you won't switch your POV, but just listen for once.
Absolutely, yes.
And hey, who knows? Maybe you are wrong or maybe you are right. But let's have a conversation. It used to be, let's discuss this, let's talk about it. But now it's, no, you're wrong, I'm right. Everyone else is dumb, I'm right. It's like, this is where a lot of the problems are coming nowadays.
I agree. And Diego, I would argue that we as a human race have a lot more in common than contrary. Because do we not all need, or want at least, fresh air? Do we not need good food and water and exercise? All these and relationships,
laughter,
those
love,
are the most important things.
Yeah.
So if we agree that we all need that, what is the best way to get it? Now that could be the difference, but that's okay. At least we're in that same direction, And then I would also say that, whatever our thoughts are, keep asking, in my life, I try to go for not taking care of the symptoms, but what is the cause? If the seed is rotten, if the seed is toxic, then even the most beautiful flower from that seed and root is going to be toxic. So you get rid of that seed.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I think you're very right. Something I always tell my friends, I always tell my loved ones, I'm like, and even on Instagram, Twitter, I'm very vocal about this. We have to lead by example.
Yes.
We have to show the youth
right
from wrong. Listen, I don't have all the answers, but I could tell you some things that are just not right.
Right. And then what you just said, I don't have all the answers. That's that humility.
Yeah.
Because we're all human. We're all going to make mistakes.
Flawed. I'm going to make mistakes. I've made plenty of mistakes if I haven't already on this.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
And you may even change your mind on certain topics.
Yeah.
And that's human too, because the more we learn, we go, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have said that had I known this.
Yeah.
And so everything is,
A big part of it is taking ownership and accountability.
Absolutely.
Too. Nobody wants to be responsible.
Exactly.
I've made some mistakes. I've done dumb things.
I heard about that. Jose told me. I'm joking.
And it's just part of life. You just own it, accept it, and learn from it.
Yeah, say you're sorry and then learn. Yeah.
Have I made mistakes? Yes. Have those mistakes taught me so much, and now I'm not able to make those mistakes again and grow? Hell yes. No. And a lot of people nowadays, they don't want to take a loss. Yeah. They don't want to look foolish. They don't want to take an L or and it's like, we're human beings. We're not robots here. We're going to make mistakes. It's part of the human process. We just got to learn and adjust and be smart enough to okay, that's how I messed up that time. Let me fix it up, adjust, get better and better.
Diego, I'm 59. I'm sure that once we wrap this up and I'm on my way home, I'm going to go, did I say that? Oh, no. I'm gonna be calling you and Jose up, and I'm gonna go, guys, please take that out.
You get the final. We're gonna send this to you.
No, but my point is that it's never over. Like at 59, I thought I learned that when I was 17. Apparently, I did not. But you know what I'm saying?
No, yeah.
You're going, I said that, I did that. Oh my gosh.
I know you got to head out of here, so let me just wrap it up with two more questions. Being a family man, being in this wild industry of acting, having the hiccups that we've had, strikes, pandemic, all this stuff. How do you manage work-life balance for you at this point in your career?
Okay.
Just so for the viewers listening, who are struggling right now and they're just trying to make ends and
right.
How does, what's some advice you give for people?
Well, we touching back to the walking, which we talked about.
Yeah.
I think walking is really important. And if you have walking in your life, keep it. And if you don't, please add it, because even 10, 15 minutes a day, whether it's windy, as long as it's safe. You know, you don't want to walk in tornadoes and stuff like that, or
or when the floor is super icy.
Yeah,
like that one girl on the news, she's like, it's the best time to go running. And then she goes in this whoop.
Yeah, no, be safe. Be safe. But some rain and sunshine and wind is good for you, I think, So 10, 15 minutes a day minimum would be fantastic, and do that every day. Like you said, working your lines and all that.
Yeah.
It's refreshing, it's energizing, and you get inspiration. I find. So walking in the life every day is fantastic.
Yeah.
Clean water, if you have that, or boil it if you have to.
Yeah.
But water is important.
Yeah.
Get sleep.
Yeah.
There's a professor I believe he's from, I hope this is right, from Berkeley, Professor Matthew Walker. He's a neuroscientist, and he focuses on sleep.
Yeah.
And he says 8 hours minimum.
Yeah.
8 hours minimum. And I would agree to that. When I don't get 8 hours plus, I'm not at my best. I can rise to the occasion for a little while, but I feel much better 8 hours plus.
I hear you.
Right? And then, I know I get in these, I get on Instagram and I look at these little animal videos and stuff, and I go down this hole, and then all of a sudden, an hour later, I'm going, I should have been reading.
Where'd my time go?
Yes.
I hear you.
So obviously we're human, and technology, and this is the world. But I would say, read books, and then have conversations like we're doing. Yeah. It's really important to stay connected to people. We need people. Yeah. We're social creatures, humans. Breathe and read. Yeah. And talk like we're doing. It's really important.
All right. Well, last question of our amazing conversation that I've really enjoyed. What do you want to be remembered as? This is a question we ask. Almost every. I got asked the other day. I was like, I don't even know. I've never been asked that.
I'm okay if I'm not remembered. I just, obviously, I don't know where we're going to. I've gone through a lot of different phases of my life of beliefs. I want to believe there's something bigger. Yeah. Whether you call it God or something else. Yeah. I don't know. And I think that's okay not to know. Yeah. I think it's okay to question. Yeah. I've read different books, different religions. Yeah. And I've been to different countries, and just like, there are all these ways of life. Individuals have different ways of life, different cultures and countries have different beliefs. Yeah. And who's to say, I don't think there's a better. I think it's all different ways to possibly the same place. Again, coming back to, if we all need air, water, and food and all these, it's like we're much more the same than not. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of different ways to live. Yeah. But I am really, okay, let me rephrase this. You asked me, how do I want to be remembered?
Dacascos want to be remembered.
How do I want to be remembered?
Apart from the suave movie star, handsome,
if I
French
am
kissing man with the kung fu moves.
Oh, Diego, you
whoops
stud.
Everyone's butt in cinema. Come on.
If I am remembered, I hope I brought a smile to their face.
That's awesome.
And they took a happy breath.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
That's
all right, Mark. Well, listen, Knights of Zodiac comes to Netflix this month. That's a huge W. That's all I wanted for us, right? To do the theatrical release, then do the streaming release. I hope we come back for Zodiac 2. I don't know. Either way, I'm content with what happened in the movie. I'm happy. I loved it. I love getting to meet people like you, Madison, McKenna, everybody, right? If we're to come back though for Knights of Zodiac 2, what do you want to see from my luck?
Oh my goodness! Some of his backstory, how he ended up with this and that, and and the shaved head and all that. Yeah, I'd love to have, the story show all of our backstories, how we got to be us. Yeah, you know, because your character is very interesting, right? You've got this very tough exterior, but you see that soulfulness in your eyes.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I think that's interesting for people to see how the characters became who they are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time, Mark. Everybody, check out Mark on social handles. Mark, is it just Mark Dacascos?
It's different because some people got my name before I did.
Oh,
so
okay,
dude,
that's the worst.
So we had to go Dacascos Mark on Instagram. Dacascos Mark, it's close, right?
Awesome.
Just look for the little official
check that
authentication.
out, guys. Get some of the steak, sirloin steak, right?
Yes, Culinary Champions.
Culinary Champions. I gotta get some of that too myself.
Thank you, Diego. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother, for coming on. It really means a lot.
Thank you, Diego.
Thank you, bro.
All right. Shoot, man.